episode that I'm doing on the beginning of the week. And today I wanted to talk to you about a feeling of hurt. And I want to also give you an analogy that you can use, and maybe that will be helpful for you to think about how to protect yourself from feeling hurt. Because I have observed so much in my own life and also in how my clients and my humanitarians are telling me is that there seems to be this way of many of us being like feeling hurt left and right and everywhere. Like most of the, or oftentimes we get hurt, whether by someone saying something, whether we interpreting that in particular way. So it feels like feeling hurt comes easy to many of us. Or, of course, also maybe I attract people who have been telling me all of these experiences, right? Because also the way that I feel hurt is when, like, something external, something sharp scratching my heart. This is how it feels like. What I also know from my own experience, at least this is what I will be describing in my own body, right? When I feel hurt, I also know that it takes some time to heal and to recover from it. And oftentimes it makes me feel like in the very victimy feeling, like feeling like a victim of not being able to protect myself or was not able to protect myself, and like taking a long time to recover. But also there is this risk of me recovering in the way of, oh, that means I need to now behave in a particular way so that I don't feel hurt, right? So in other words, I may have this tendency of then saying, okay, maybe I need to adjust to that particular situation even if I don't want to, so that I don't feel hurt. Do you see what I'm saying? And that's why I tend to not to like the feeling of hurt from that perspective of a making us feel victimy and taking a long time to recover from it, and also feeling like we need to now adjust to whatever situation we are, even though we don't want to. Now, feeling hurt may be necessary in some of the ways, especially if we want to be vulnerable, if we want to start new relationships. Feeling hurt may be part of the journey, so there's not much we can do about it. But also there is other type of feeling hurt that we can actually do something about it and decide to protect ourselves from it if we wanted to. And this is the part that I want to talk to you about, is the part of feeling hurt when we can and we should protect ourselves, and maybe currently we're not doing. Now, the analogy that I want to propose to you for you to think about is, imagine if we went driving in the streets without the seat belt on. Seat belt is on, right? So imagine not having any of the security measures, and we start driving recklessly on the street, and then and maybe even like getting into the streets driving without really knowing properly the rules of the traffic. Now, of course, we also, as humanitarians, have worked in countries where this type of situation may occur very often, and including my country where I come from. Sometimes maybe people don't really study the rules of the traffic or don't put it in the seatbelts on, right? But I'm talking about in general, like the safety measures that we put for ourselves as we drive through in the road. Now imagine that us getting into the accident is actually feeling hurt. So the analogy that I want to give you is, what if the feeling hurt is actually when we get into the accident? Now imagine that every time we get into the accident here and here and here, it will be very difficult for us to recover from, because it's such a like shaking experience, right? So in order not to do that though, we consciously take certain safety measures in order not to make that happen. We study, we put the seatbelt on, we have other measures, we have the technical side of the car in order, intact, so that we can drive without worry. Now, the same thing I suggest for you to think about feeling hurt, right? So, how do you protect yourself from feeling hurt? Especially about comments, about statements from people that you don't like, you don't want to agree with, or even find it offensive, find it not allowed. In those circumstances, how can you protect yourself from feeling hurt? And this is what I really want you to think about. Because if we keep feeling hurt on those comments that we don't even like to begin with, then I just wonder, is it really worth suffering for it, right? Is it really worth feeling hurt on the things that we don't even agree with, or we actually dislike it, or we find it against the rules, against the ethical rules, the professional rules? If that's the case, then the question is that you can ask yourself is it really worth me feeling hurt? Now, of course, you may not be used to protecting yourself from those type of comments simply because you may just have the habit of believing all the comments to be true, or it's triggering certain things from your past, and that may be happening, and you may want to process through it. But once you process through it, you can always decide, do you really want to be offended or hurt on this comment that you actually disagree with or find it not okay? Right. And the way that I think about it is like this is a similar way of us putting a seatbelt. In your case, in the emotional hurt, the seat belt is actually your filter that you put between you and the other person, especially when it comes to comments like this. Like, for instance, the personal comments or comments that you find it offensive, you can put the blinders, so to say, and then decide, do you want to receive it as a hurtful feeling, or do you want to receive it as an anger generating feeling, or do you want to receive it as a way to tell the other person that this is not okay? Right. So that's really what I want you to think about, is like not think of feeling hurt as a way of, oh, I can't do anything about it, or this is just how it is, or I just need to change my behavior. Maybe I'm not really good at this, or maybe I shouldn't be, and all of these things, and questioning yourself and doubting yourself, or like confirming your other beliefs about how insecure you are or how this you are, and then just using that evidence as to confirm your whatever feeling that or diagnosis that you have about yourself. Don't do that. Instead, decide, do you want to be offended or hurt by this comment or no? Right? Is it something that you actually agree with, or just your brain decided to be on autopilot and just say that, oh, this is one of those things that you need to be hurt, and then stay hurt for some time and then not recover? Because how you process, or rather how you react to those kind of comments, depend on you, right? How you react to those kind of comments, especially the ones that you don't like, especially the ones that you find it actually offensive, or especially the ones that you don't find it okay, I think that it's not good use of our time, and it's not good to honor that kind of comments by feeling hurt. Because the way that I'm thinking about my feeling hurt is that I want to be feeling hurt for building vulnerable, like for building relationships where I am totally vulnerable, and then I get hurt by the person that I love, and then their comments, and I'm just taking it very personal because this is a very personal relationship. I'm okay from that. I'm okay to be hurt by that type of situation, but I'm not okay to be hurt in the workplace by my colleagues who are supposed to treat me as equal, who are supposed to have their own professional standards, and I have my own professional standards. And in those environments, going on the personal level of attacking or personal level of comments are not okay. And I don't want to be offended or hurt by those. situation, but rather I want to have an equal conversation with them and tell them that this is not okay. And therefore, I'm wanting to put this seat belt on for my, like the protective vest within me, so to say, in my heart. From emotional hurt, and instead of keep like suffering and keep letting my heart like scratched by these hurt feelings, I want to put the protective vest on myself, and the protective vest could be my belief about myself, my trust in myself, and then put that vest on, and then say, no, these are not the things that I want to be hurt by. These are things that I want to actually discuss with them and say that this is not okay to say it, and therefore I want to continue having the equal conversation with whoever in my hierarchy. So, my dears, I really hope that you can decide for yourself how you want to treat your hurt feelings and how are you using it currently. Is it useful or it's not useful? And if it's not useful for you, then you can always decide how do you want to protect yourself. How do you want to put your seat belt or the protective vest on so that when you're navigating in the workforce, you always know how to protect yourself from comments that you don't actually think is not okay. And instead of feeling hurt and trying to recover from it, rather decide how do you want to react to it. You don't need to even react to it angrily if you don't want to, but you can also decide to react angrily and also have a conversation with that person, and that will require a confidence within you, and that will require trust within you, and that's amazing skills that you can develop anyway, so that you can use them as protective vest to have that conversation with the other person and say, this is what I think is happening and I don't think is okay, so that's why we need to talk about it. So my dears, if you want to work on this or on any of the topics that I cover, then I would love to invite you to work with me. And I can't wait to have you on the journey of building your protective vest that you can always decide when to wear it, when not to wear it, and have the trust, the confidence to have this equal conversations with others instead of just feeling like a victim or feeling like I need to recover or feeling like this is not okay, but without being able to express that um, in the workplace or even in relationships. Have an amazing week, and I will talk to you very soon. Bye.